Hello everyone. This is the third video of this chapter. In the first two videos, we have already discussed about economic activities, non-economic activities, how economic activities can be divided into primary sector, secondary sector, and tertiary sector. Then we have learned about the final and intermediate goods. What's the difference between both? Then we have seen definition of GDP. What is GDP? How GDP is calculated? Then shifting historical changes. In the historical changes, we have learned about shifting from the primary sector to secondary sector to tertiary sector. So this we will see here in more details. So as you can see, primary, secondary and tertiary sectors are given, and here we have one graph. So with the help of this graph, we are going to give few answers. So let's see what is given here in this graph. So first of all, production of goods and services in three sectors. So in GDP, how much production is happening? So production. Okay. So wait a second. Now, if you will see, few questions are given here, 1, 2, 3 and 4. And with the help of this graph, we have to answer these questions. So basically, which two years we are going to compare? 1970-71 and 2010 and 11 we are going to compare. The time difference, if you will see, it is approximately 40 years. So 40 साल के gap में what is the change in the economy, that we have to understand here. So which is the largest producing sector in 1970-71? So this 1970-71, of course, answer is primary. As you can see, the share of the primary sector is more, and it is given by green color. As you can see, it is showing in green color. The second is, which is the largest producing sector in 2010-11? So of course the answer is 10-11, largest producing, your tertiary sector. Then next is, can you say which sector has grown the most over the 40 years? So answer is your tertiary sector. Then the fourth question is, what was the GDP of India in 2011? If you see here, 2011, near to this 50 lakh rupees crore. Okay. So if you see here, 1970-71, this was a scenario. Till 10 lakh we are reaching, 10 lakh crore. But now 50 lakh crores we are able to reach. But in that also, in 1970, who was contributing more? Primary sector was contributing more. But later on in 2010 and 11, who is contributing more? Answer is tertiary sector. So this answer we need to understand why tertiary sector is producing more. Production is happening, and production of goods and services is more in tertiary sector. So let's see. So now, rising importance of, wait a second, this we have to see. Rising importance of tertiary sector in production. So while production in all three sectors have increased, it has increased the most in the tertiary sector. So just now we have seen in the above graph that tertiary sector has shown significant improvement. But what's the reason? Tertiary sector has emerged as the largest producing sector in India, replacing the primary sector. So in the year 70-71, we have shown who was producing more, that was primary sector. And in the year 2010-11, who is producing more? Tertiary sector. So this we have to understand. So here one question comes. Here you can see, why is tertiary sector becoming so important in India? So let's see the answer. So you can see there are various services which have increased over a period of time. These are all basic services. Without these services, we cannot say that a country is developed. What are these services? Like hospitals, educational institute, post and telegraph services, police station, courts, village administrative offices, municipal corporation, defense, transport, banks, insurance companies, your LIC, your banking, your ATM, and many more services you can say. These are just few examples. So with the time, there's a huge, you can say, huge increase in these kind of services. And because of that, which sector has grown over the time period? Answer is tertiary sector. Okay. So in the developing countries, the government has taken the responsibility. They take the responsibility for the provision of these services. So, and who is doing the main role? Who is responsible for providing all these services? Answer is government. Now let's see the second. So this is your first reason, reason number one, because of these services. Then there comes the second reason. The development of agriculture and industry leads to the development of services. So of course, primary, secondary sectors are growing. It will also help in the development of tertiary sector. So transport, trade, storage, and the like. So same kind of activities we can say, same kind of services which are increasing over the time. So greater the development of the primary, secondary sector, more would be the demand for these services, and such services you know this very well. So let's see. So this is your, wait a second. Now we will see the third point. So this is your third one. Let's see. Okay. Third, as income level rise, so people, what is happening with the people? Income is increasing with the time. Okay. People start demanding many more services. What kind of services they demand? Nowadays, you are also going to eat, you are also going outside and eating out. You are going for tourism, means to various places, shopping like Goa, Manali, and many more. So what is happening? Tourism industry is increasing, or the growth is more in this kind of industries. Like private hospitals, earlier there were very few private hospitals near to independence time, if you will see 1950 and around that time. So private schools around your locality or society, just see in 5 kilometers how many new schools are there, and there's a lots of competition among them. Then professional trainings, nowadays you can see various coaching institutions and coaches providing like skating, cricket coaching, and many more professional coachings and all, coaching institutions and all you can see. So next is a fourth example, fourth reason. Over the past decades or so, certain new services such as, what are these new services? Let's see, new services. What are these new services? Information and communication technology. So as you know, the way you are watching this video, and it might be in YouTube. Okay. So what is happening? Due to this is possible because of the information and communication technology. You can say IT sector. Your IT sector is boosting nowadays. And like you are using nowadays Google Classroom, okay, or Zoom for your classes. So what is happening? These things are possible because of the improvement in the IT sector. Okay. So now let's see the next thing. However, you must remember that okay, service sector in India employs, okay, so service sector in India employs many different kinds of people. So different kinds of jobs are there in service sector. What are these? You can divide into two. Service sector that employ high skilled, so you can say high skilled laborers, okay, which are educated, and lower skilled, so low skilled laborers, okay. Workers engaged in the services such as small shopkeepers, repair person, transport persons, etc. So the people like shopkeepers, you can say those who are working in shops. So these are all laborers, those who are every choraha you will get this kind of people, those who are doing day to day, or you can say dehadi, okay, dehadi mazdoor and all. So these are all part of your service sector, and the low paid, they are low paid. And here like lawyer, doctor, engineers, and many more jobs. So these are all part of your service sectors. Engineer, as you can say, scientists are also part of service sector, but high skilled educated laborers. Okay, so there are people those are barely able to manage their livings, so these are low paid workers. So where are most people employed? So of course the question is, we know about the primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. So now we will see where most of the people or more people are getting jobs or employed. Okay, so this we have to see. For this, okay, before this, let's see graph 2. Graph 2, share in the sector in GDP. Who is contributing more in GDP? Before this, I will just erase this part. Okay, now just see here, GDP, whenever you're telling about the GDP, consider this as a 100%. In the 100%, if you see in 1970-71, who's contributing more, near to, you can say this is approximately 45%. 45%, whose contribution was there in, who was contributing 45%? Your primary sector. Okay, and then second, you can say, who's the second number, second ranking we can give to the secondary sector, number 1, 2 and 3. And let's see in 2010-11, who is contributing more, whose share has increased now from 2 to rank 1. Tertiary sector is share has increased over the time. Then second position goes to secondary sector and third position goes to your primary sector. So in the first we have seen who was contributing, means production, whose production was more in 2010-11, it was tertiary sector. And now whose share is more, again credit goes to, or the award goes to your tertiary sector. So share, I hope it is clear. So earlier whose share was more in 70-71, primary sector, and now whose share is more, your tertiary sector. So now let's see a remarkable fact. A shift has taken place in the employment. Graph 3. So now we will see the graph 3. The three sectors in 1970-71 and 2009-10, the primary sector contribute to be the largest employer ever now. So let's see here what is showing in the graph 3. It is showing the employment, percentage of employment. So again considered as a 100%. Earlier in 1970-71, how many people, how many percentage, how much percentage of people were involved? It is near to 72%, as you can see here. In 2009-10, again near to 52 to 53% approximately, you can say. This sector, tertiary sector, is contributing more in the GDP, but the employment it is not able to generate. This is actually a problem. Okay, जिस sector का contribution, here you can see production is happening. Okay, share in GDP is also increasing, but employment is not increasing. This is actually a problem. Okay, कि production भी बढ़ा, okay, share भी बढ़ रहा है GDP में, but employment नहीं बढ़ रहा. Employment is again stagnant with the primary sector, or you can say with agriculture. Okay, here primary sector, again most of the people are involved in the primary sector. So this is actually a problem. So why did this is happening? Not enough jobs. So same thing is given here. Not enough jobs were created in the secondary and tertiary sector. So we have to know the reason behind this. So industrial output or the production of the goods went up by more than 9 times. 9 times here if you see the industrial output has increased over the time period. Okay, industry went up around 3 times. The same applies to the tertiary sector as well. While production of these services sector rose by more than 14 times, सब कुछ बढ़ रहा है. Employment in these services rose around 5 times, but employment नहीं बढ़ रहा. Okay, this is actually a problem. कि share is happening, share or production is increasing, but employment is not happening. As a result, more than half of the workers in the countries are working in the primary sector. Because of this, what is happening? There's a, you can say, dependency on primary sector. More dependency is on the primary sector. People are again employed in the primary sector. But primary sector is not able to contribute in the GDP. The share in the GDP is again going down. Production is again going down. But employment, more people are again employed. So this is actually a problem. So does this mean that the workers in the agriculture are not producing as much they could? Answer is no, it's not the reason. So does this mean that the workers, actually the problem in the agriculture sector is that more people are employed, which is not required. So this we are going to learn in the next video better. So we'll learn about the underemployed, labor effort, and disguised unemployment. These all three things, and the other things we are going to read in the next video. I hope 16 minutes video is already done. So this is enough for you today. So we will continue in the fourth video. Thank you everyone.